I've got a bit of a confession to tell you folks. I've had to resubscribe to Netflix for a very, very short time simply because I've got to complete my mega marathon that is Better Call Saul. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia because I have such an unrequited, lustful crush on Caitlin Olsen. She's my kind of woman. Blonde, funny, sassy, sexy, and she likes men who've got muscles because she's married to Rob McElhenney. Damn you, Rob, but well done to you, good sir. You've got yourself a fine woman, a fine catch there. And also, if you're wondering why I've got a Justice League wallpaper behind me, well, let's just say Wonder Woman's childbearing hips are very sexy to look at and to behold. And maybe lamenting the DC universe going forward. But enough of that frivolity, folks, because today, on Christmas, the birth of Christ, whatever you want to say about whatever your viewpoint, Netflix decided, in their infinite wisdom, to drop us an absolute gem of a show. The Witcher Blood Origin. The first 4 episodes have dropped. I've gone through them all. I've watched the show, so you don't have to. But having said that, if you're like my very insufferable mother, you might just go ahead and do what you please anyway. So have that as a caveat, and we're going to get into this very quick review for this god-awful show. It's the mind boggles. Honestly, I don't know how many pills I haven't swallowed. By the way, I've got my hoodie on today because I've caught a bit of a cold, and I think it's from somebody I met recently, like yesterday. So I think that person's given me something. So thank you very much.
Well, space fans, exciting news, huh? And there's even more in part 2.
Hello, this is your television speaking.
Let's push the button marked idiot and see what comes out.
You're tired. You should go to sleep with...
So where do we begin with The Witcher Blood Origin? Oh my god, I tell you, it's, you know, that we have Minnie Driver. She used to be like an A-list actress for a very short time in the 90s, and she still looks good, except now she's got like a layer of 4K makeup to cover her perfect facial features, and she's a storyteller, which by my translation means when you're an established actress like Driver, you can just show up for 10 minutes or less of filming, get a nice hefty paycheck, pay your mortgage off, and move on to the next project. And when she sets the story for what's going to unfold, honestly, I mean, if you haven't seen this trope before, do yell at me in the comments below and let me know. She talks about 7 mages or 7 warriors who get together. Where have I seen that concept before? Ah, yes, Akira Kurosawa, The Magnificent Seven. And then we have the remake, and I'm going to throw in Chris Pratt just to annoy his haters out there. Yeah. And of course, that's going to be the first of maybe 3 things that I saw in his first 4 episodes that made me go, oh, no, originality! Oh, gosh. From this point onwards, I cannot... Look, I'm not a Witcher folklore expert. I'm aware of the characters. I mean, Triss is pretty hot, actually. And, you know, the main female characters in the video games, I like them a lot. They're very endearing. Okay, they're not insufferable. But in this one, we have Ciri's ancestor. Yes, it's a black female elf. She is the ancestor of Ciri. In fact, Minnie Driver's character of the storyteller, when she's establishing the events, the guy she's speaking to says, oh, Geralt is going to be pissed there was someone before him. Because you have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, this show is set 1200 years before Geralt of Rivia turned up. So it's basically a way of saying, well, you know, you've got your all-white, all-based Witcher universe as set in Polish folklore. Well, no, we're going to tell you that before all of that, there was something more multicultural and diverse. That's what this is all about. Now, if I haven't said this once, I'm going to say it again, okay? When you're casting diversity into folklore that is established in Europe or England, wherever, and it's a certain set standard, okay? Norse mythology, it's better off as a spoof. So go back to my example of, oh no, not another superhero movie, and you've got Tracy Morgan as Professor X. That is absolutely hysterical that, they even went and did that, and it's fine. Because even Tracy Morgan knows he's not Professor Xavier material. But the fact he's playing that character with so much tongue in his cheek, it's just a great joy to watch.
We have children who can walk through walls. We have children who think they can walk through walls.
If they did that with this, if this show feels like it could have been a spoof, and I think people wouldn't have had a problem doing all the usual, oh no, not another race swapped mythology, something like that. They could have done that for Netflix, but I gotta say, the set designs, what I have seen, are so laughably bad.
Preposterous.
If I'm saying Wheel of Time and Rings of Power had better set productions than this shoddily put together show from Netflix, it's a travesty. Remember, just like Jeff Bezos said, your money for Amazon is paying for our trips to space, the Rings of Power. Okay, it's the same thing with Netflix. Now, of course, if you don't know about Netflix, they've got 3 tiers. So if you're watching 720p output, it's going to be like under a £10. If it's 1080p, it's going to be $10.99. If it's 4K, it's almost £16. So I hate that. I really can't stand that. But I've just gone for the 1080p leveling. Whatever you're paying is going towards the making of these terrible shows on Netflix. That's all I'm going to say. And I've got to say, the 2 characters I like the most. One is called Fahir, I think that's how you pronounce it, played by Lawrence Oran, and he played Havok in Vikings. And that's a base show. I really like that show on Amazon Prime. And what's really funny, I mean, we get one of the most used tropes ever, where you got like a woman who, well, in this case actually, you got the black elf of power, who's the main focus of this show, who's entertaining, who's warbling. She's warbling. She's a singer. I'm assuming she's terrible. Why is a black elf wearing black lip liner around her mouth? That makes no sense to me. I've seen this makeup before of women of her color, and I don't know why they do it. It just looks very terrible to me. If you've got beautiful lips, just have them beautiful. You have to accentuate them with black lip liner. It's so odd. But she breaks up a potential assault on a white woman there. I've got a white elf, and it's like she's overpowered by these big men who are very horny. We've seen this so many times in other medieval set shows. But of course, Black Elf of Power, dun, 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 she's here to save the day. She beats up at least 4 men who are like 3 times bigger than her, but she takes them out with ease. I'm just sat there thinking, this cannot be happening.
I would love for it to be after I'm dead.
But what am I kidding? And who am I kidding? This is Hollywood 2022, folks. Now, remember at the beginning of this video, I talked about 3 callbacks to things people have forgotten, but I haven't. So you have 2 men who kiss for the very first time. So one is an Indian elf and one is a white elf. And it suddenly occurred to me where I've seen this moment before. 1985. Hanif Qureshi's My Beautiful Laundrette. I was in Westminster College when we watched this film, me and some other students, and when we saw Daniel Day-Lewis and Gordon Warneck locking lips in a silhouette at a laundrette, everybody lost their shit. I mean, people were getting up and walking out, booing and hissing at the screen. And, that's 1985. We're now in 2022. And I just saw this moment and I was like, wow, we're forcing this diversity, this agenda into shows that are kind of known for it. I get that, but there was no rhyme or reason to have it in there It was just forced and tacked on. And I've got to say, my other favourite character, I've forgotten her name, but she's the dwarf, she's the female dwarf who walks around with a hammer called Gwen. Get it? Because there's a card game called Gwent in the Witcher universe, but she's called it Gwen. Hello, Gwen. You alright, love? And I think if the hammer could actually talk, it might have been a funny character or plot device, but they don't go with it because I guess fucking Netflix ran out of money at this point. Honestly, the set design is terrible. I've got to reiterate that. But by the way, the female dwarf actually drops the line, "Come with me if you want to live," because there's a fucking big dragon in the sky. If I'd never seen Terminator 2, I wouldn't realise the relevance of that line. But James Cameron, 1991, he gave us a very memorable character line, and it's awesome. No one's ever going to top Arnie in that moment, you know? And you know, it's been repurposed for other entertainment after that. No one can come up with an original idea. And I gotta say, folks, do not watch The Witcher Blood Origin. Lauren Rich, she has destroyed the franchise of The Witcher once and for all. I can see why Henry Cavill walked off the set. He was not fired off the set because he's white, male, and toxic. Far from it. This guy he's legit. He's one of us. He just happens to be really, really super good looking and a real geek. I've been watching his 40k Warhammer videos. I think the guy's awesome. I'm getting into that universe now. Funny enough, if you look at YouTube now and the algorithm, Warhammer 40k content is doing better than ever. And there's a lot to explore in that world, and I'm just going to take my sweet ass time. In fact, one of the things I want to do this year as well is to probably watch less content, although that's going to be hard to do. I want to do a lot more reading of comics and literature, just to kind of get back into that. Things I used to do in the 80s and 90s before the internet, basically. That's what I want to do. And I think there's a very fitting way to end this video today, actually. It has to be done. So if you're not aware of this, there's a promotion about why you should watch The Witcher Blood Origin. And as you can see, this video here is getting ratioed to hell. 2,426 comments against 1,970 likes. So if you haven't heard this, it's 45 seconds long. Let's just go and play this because I think you're going to get a real kick out of this.
I can give you 1,000. The cast are insane.
The action is fierce.
It's got Michelle Yeoh, who is, I mean, you already know that, but she's just incredible.
It's set 1,000 years before The Witcher.
It explores part of the lore of The Witcher that hasn't been explored before.
I wonder what that is.
Seen before.
It has the first kiss between two men in the show.
Costumes,
Fucking hell.
the makeup, the hair. Bon appetit.
There's a deaf sign language as a character.
It's a show that's made with so much love, and that's really fun.
It's funny. Do you know what I get? When I watch that, it's like they're put on a platform and they say, look, you've got 10 seconds to say something really, really good about The Witcher Blood Origin. And then this guy, he doesn't seem to stop. He's like a speed freak. He's just rattling off, oh, this is great. First kiss between two men. Oh, I love you. And why? God. You know, I'm going to go and watch Alice in Borderland later on. I've always wanted to watch it, and it's always been on my playlist. And I'm going to make sure I do that today on Christmas Day. Yeah, I know, I'm feeling very festive, folks. But don't forget, when you watch an episode for Blood Origin, make sure you hit the thumbs down button, because it does give you the option to downvote the content, which I have done. But you know what content you shouldn't downvote? My content! Because I'm here on Christmas Day, getting a little bit shivery, going to get some Beecham's powder in me in a few moments. Make sure you hit that video like button. Make sure you smack that subscribe button. And if I were you, and if you were me, you better come round for the next video.
Ballow's beast.
We're fucked. Come with me if you want to live.
Come with me if you want to live.
Ugh. This video is brought to you today by Miss Hayley Atwell's breasts, which defy gravity, the universe, and mankind as we know it. And if I were you, and if you were me, and maybe, yes, I'll check you out on the next video.